What is the spiritual dream meaning of long hair?
I mean, really think about that. What kind of woman spends 3 hours every single morning on her hair? Not because she's vain, but because she believes deep in her bones that it's the only thing tethering her soul to this world. This isn't some fairy tale. She was a real person.
That woman? Her name was Empress Elizabeth of Austria, but everyone called her Psyche. And if you really want to understand what your dreams about hair are trying to tell you, you have to understand her story first.
Psyche was a complete contradiction. On the outside, she was an icon, maybe the most famous woman of her time. But on the inside, she was suffocating. 2.2 meters. That's how long her hair was. It literally fell to the floor, a heavy, living crown that she was completely obsessed with. Her life wasn't her own. I mean, she was married off at 16, her kids were immediately taken from her by her mother-in-law, and every single move she made was controlled by the court. She was basically a bird in a very, very gilded cage.
So when everything else was taken from her, and I mean everything, her hair was the one thing left she could control. This was never about vanity. This was about survival.
She was tragically assassinated when she was 60, and when she died, her armor, that magnificent, heavy hair, was still perfectly pinned. She never ever cut it.
Okay, so Psyche's story isn't just some dusty piece of history. It's actually a key. It's the key to unlocking a message that's coming from your own unconscious mind.
When hair shows up in your dreams, it is never just hair. Your inner self is trying to speak to you in a language that's older than words, and it's trying to tell you something urgent.
So let's make this personal. Answer this for yourself, right now. In your dream, that hair, does it feel like a crown you wear with pride, or is it a heavy weight you can barely carry?
And what's happening to it? Who is interacting with this symbol of your power? Is someone trying to cut it, to take it from you? Or are they celebrating it?
The state of the hair is a direct diagnosis. Is it healthy, vital, free, reflecting your own inner state? Or is it tangled, dirty, maybe even falling out? Because that's a clear sign of distress and loss.
And here's the thing, this isn't some new idea. This symbol is universal. It's ancient and it's embedded deep in the entire human story.
I mean, you see it everywhere. Think about it. Samson's divine strength was in his hair. Many Native American traditions see it as a spiritual antenna. Hindu yogis believe it's a vessel for life energy. In Celtic myths, it's a direct line to the divine feminine. The message is always the same. Hair is tied to your life force.
Look, this is not just a bunch of old stories. This is psychological data collected over thousands of years. It's the wisdom of human beings paying attention to what's going on inside.
So what is it trying to tell you? Your psyche is raising a flag, and you need to think of these as urgent warnings, flags for your own psychological survival.
So your dream is a flag, and it's pointing to one of these 5 areas. Your personal power. Are you actually in control? Your freedom. Are you living your own authentic life, or are you trapped? Your feminine identity. How do you even relate to it? Your spiritual connection. Are you plugged in? And finally, your vitality. Are you truly fully alive? Your dream is about one of these things.
A lot like Psyche, right? Maybe you've been taught that your power is something to be managed, to be trimmed down, made smaller, more acceptable to others. Well, your dream is an act of rebellion against that. It's your psyche pushing back.
Which brings us to the final, non-negotiable point. This is not some dream you analyze for fun and then just forget about. This is a message that demands your attention.
What you need to get here is the urgency. Your psyche isn't being poetic. It's telling you that something fundamental, your power, your freedom, your core identity, is at a critical juncture. Right now. Today.
Don't hit snooze on that message.
Part 2. Look, this isn't about some generic dream dictionary you find online. What we're talking about here are maps, psychological, spiritual maps of your inner world. And you need to know how to read them, because honestly, your life depends on it. All right, first up, the red flags, the dreams of violation. And listen, these are the most urgent warnings your psyche can possibly send you. They're not whispers, they are screaming sirens. So if you've had one of these, you need to pay very close attention, right now. What you're seeing here is a psychic scream. It's a vision, an image of self-destruction that just explodes when some situation inside of you has gone way past unbearable and hit a critical point. And this is it, the most urgent dream you can have. pulling your own hair out. If this is happening in your dreams, it means you are in crisis. Full stop. This isn't something you mull over with your morning coffee. No, this requires a 2 a.m. crisis call response. You know, the kind where you drop everything, you act, you call someone you trust, you get help. Because something has to change. Immediately. The next red flag, and this one is all about violation. We're talking a complete theft of your personal power, of your sovereignty. Okay, so what about when someone else is cutting your hair? Yeah, there's nothing subtle about this. This is your psyche screaming bloody murder that your power, your autonomy is being stolen from you. So you have to ask yourself and be brutally honest. Who or what is making decisions for you without your consent? This dream is a flat-out demand. Set boundaries, not next week, now. Now, what if your hair is just falling out? This is the check engine light on your psychological dashboard. It means your stress levels are redlining. It's so extreme that it's overflowing into your dream state. It's a direct message. You feel a loss of control and your body is screaming about it. So the dream is essentially asking you this. Where are you running on empty? I mean, completely empty. Where in your life are you so stressed out, so powerless that you're just done? Your psyche is begging you here. It's a plea to please, please tend to yourself before you completely burn out. Okay, let's shift gears. We've talked about the red flags. Now we're moving into the inner work, facing complexity. So these dreams aren't the blaring sirens. Think of these more like really intricate, complex maps that are asking you to look at the tangled up parts of yourself. So you dream of tangled, knotted hair. I mean, what a perfect metaphor for unresolved emotional stuff, right? The key here is that the tangle is the point. Your inner self is telling you, hey, don't just yank on this. You can't force it. The action here is to pick one knot, one situation, and then you gently, patiently start with just one single thread and see where it leads. And this is such a critical distinction. It's about your choice versus a violation. See, if you are the one cutting your hair in the dream, that's powerful. That's you consciously deciding to let go of an old identity. It's a rebirth that you control. But if someone else is doing the cutting, that's a violation. Your power is being stripped away. The difference is consent. And that difference, it's everything. Okay, but what if you dream about someone else with this gorgeous, long, amazing hair? Here's the secret. That person is you. Yep, she's a part of you. She's showing you your own unclaimed potential, your own power, your own wildness. That ache of longing you feel when you see her, you're longing for a part of yourself. So the work here isn't just to admire her. No way. The question is, what quality does she have that you need to claim? Like right now? Is it her confidence? Her freedom? Her pure, unapologetic wildness? You need to name it. And then, and this is the important part, you have to find one real, concrete way to bring that quality into your life. This week. Not someday, this week. All right, section 3, the rebirth. And you can see how this all connects, right? We've gone from the red flags, through the inner work, and now we get to the payoff, the signs of real power. These are the dreams that show you you're growing, that you're in a place of renewal and expansion. Let's look at 2 incredible signs of, let's call it, spiritual maintenance. First, washing your hair. This is all about purification. You are actively washing away old energy, old grief, you're cleaning house. Then there's braiding hair. This is about integration. You're taking all these different strands of yourself and weaving them together into something strong, beautiful, and whole. It's literally your soul taking care of itself. So the next dreams we're going to talk about, they go beyond just maintenance. This is about a major expansion, a real leveling up of both your personal power and your inner wisdom. So let's break that down. Power and wisdom. If you dream of supernaturally long hair, that's about your power, your capacity to do things in the world. Think of it as a permission slip from your own soul to go after your biggest goals. But dreaming of white or silver hair, that's about wisdom, your capacity to know. That's your inner elder tapping you on the shoulder and saying, hey, you already know the answer, trust yourself. And this one, this might be the most beautiful of all. Dreaming that your hair is adorned with flowers, with jewels, maybe it's even glowing with its own light. listen closely. This is not a reward for being good. It is sacred recognition. It's your psyche honoring you, usually after you've been through hell, for the simple fact of who you are and that you survived. So what do you do with a dream like that? You don't just feel good about it and move on. You have to apply it. You receive that feeling of honor, and then you ask yourself this question. If I really, truly believed I was worthy of this, what would I do differently today? And whatever that answer is, you go and do it. So look, if you remember nothing else, remember this. Your dreams are not random. They're not meaningless static. They are instructions. Clear, specific, actionable instructions coming from the absolute core of your being. Every single night, your psyche is sending you these incredible messages, these maps, these red flags, these permission slips. Your inner world is talking to you, loud and clear. The only real question left is, are you listening? All right, you've had the dream. Now what? This is the action plan. This is what you do with it, starting today. Part 3. Okay, let's be real about this. Understanding your dreams, it's completely worthless if it just stays rattling around in your head. Insight without action is a total dead end. So this is how you make it count. Not tomorrow, now. First up, the internal work. This is about taking that raw data from your dream and actually turning it into something real, something you can use. So you've got 2 main paths here. Think of it like this: listening and responding. First, there's writing. That's your internal surveillance, right? You're capturing the raw intelligence that your psyche is sending you. Then there's creative expression. That's all about externalization, making those inner images tangible so you can actually work with them. All right, your dream power journal. And let me be clear, this is not a passive Dear Diary thing. The second you have that hair dream, before you even think about touching your phone, you write. Capture everything, the full sensory experience. What'd you see? How did it feel? What was that gut punch emotion you woke up with? You do this for 30 days straight, and I guarantee you patterns will start showing up. This is your personal surveillance system. You gotta use it like one. And after you've written the dream down, you ask yourself one single, non-negotiable question. What in my life right now mirrors this dream? And don't you dare edit your answer, just write. Keep writing until you hit something that feels so true it hurts. Okay, the other path? Creative expression. I mean, draw the image, paint it, make a messy collage. And here's the thing, this has nothing to do with being an artist. It's not about making good art. It's about getting that image out of your head, externalizing it. Because that simple act, it flips the script. You shift from being this passive recipient of the dream to an active respondent. You're not just having the dream anymore, you are answering it. All right, let's move on. The second major approach, and you'll see how this builds on the first, is embodied practice. This is where we stop thinking so much. It's about taking the message out of your head and putting it directly into your body. And again, 2 paths. You've got ritual, which is basically a form of somatic grounding. All that means is you're pairing a physical action with a really specific intentional thought. And then you have movement. This one's about emotional release, using your body to physically finish the sentence your psyche started in the dream. So a morning hair ritual. Sounds simple, but it is so powerful. If your dreams are all about tangled, controlled, or falling hair, your response is intentional care. Just 5 minutes. As you're literally caring for your physical hair, you name one thing, and you have to say it out loud that you are reclaiming or protecting that day. Your power, your voice, your boundaries, whatever it is. You know, this is a perfect example of how ancient wisdom and modern psychology end up at the exact same place. Cognitive behavioral therapy. They call this behavioral activation. Mystics, they call it ritual. Honestly, the label doesn't matter one bit. It works. Why? Because you're pairing a physical action with a conscious intention, and that combination literally rewires your brain. The other embodied path, it's all about completing the dream's message through movement. So if you dreamed your hair was cut against your will, you need to do something physically assertive. Go lift heavy weights, take a self-defense class, reclaim that physical power. If your hair was all tangled and stuck, move in a way that feels freeing. Dance around your living room, go for a swim. The action completes what your psyche started. It gives it an ending. Okay, on to our third tool set, external connection. This is all about bringing what's happening inside out into the world. So again, 2 options here. First, conversation. That's just good old verbal processing.
And then there's research, which is about digging into the deep ancestral context of your symbols. Think of it like this. One is about speaking your personal truth, and the other is about discovering a much bigger collective truth that you're a part of. So here's the deal, and this is crucial. You cannot let these messages just sit and fester inside you unspoken. You have to bring your hair dreams to therapy, or find that one trusted person who can just listen without judgment. Hearing yourself actually give voice to your inner life, it's one of the most powerful tools you have. Language is healing, so use it.
And then go deeper. Do the research. Find out what the women in your family line, in your heritage, believed about hair. Because in so many cultures, hair is tied directly to the big stuff. Grief, marriage, war, initiation. When you start to understand that layer, your personal dreams take on a whole new dimension. You might just find out you're carrying a story that's way older than your own.
And finally, we have to talk about the emergency signal. This part is for the woman in crisis. I need you to listen very, very carefully.
You have to ask yourself, right now, is my dream an emergency signal?
Look, if you are dreaming about pulling your own hair out, losing it in sheer terror, or watching someone cut it against your will, and especially if that dream is on repeat, you have to treat this as a high priority code red alert. No exceptions. Here's the bottom line. You would not ignore a recurring physical pain that's messing up your life, right? So do not ignore this. This is the psychological equivalent of a fire alarm blaring in your house. That recurring dream, it's not being dramatic. It's not exaggerating. It is being precise. It is showing you something that requires your full, undivided, urgent attention. Your psyche is throwing the most potent imagery it has at you to get you to wake up. Because your inner life is not a decoration. It is not just some pretty background scenery for your real life. No, it is the most vital, the most critical information you will ever have access to. And your dreams, that's just the form it takes when you've refused to listen in any other way.
So, listen now.